Hey Blake, we really need to talk. I've reached my limit with all of this. I was wondering if you could do something about Bailey?
Huh? What do you mean by that? What about Bailey?
Don't you know? We've talked about this a few times before. Bailey just keeps on making herself at home, and she's been doing this without telling us first. This has been happening day after day. She keeps coming over without telling us and stays for the entire day. Also, she keeps complaining about how I clean up our own house. It's rather frustrating. I feel like I've got no time to relax as she's always here.
How could you say something so cold about my mother? My mother's always there for you.
But what does that even mean for me?
I asked my mom to go around the house. I told her that you're really bad at doing the housework and to help educate my wife. That's why she comes over every day. You're the worst wife for treating this as a problem when it's not.
Why would you even say that I'm bad at housework? I'm trying to do my best every day in my own way. I'm confident that I'm doing housework diligently than other people in their homes. How could you say that to me?
Oh, really? Do you think you're doing the work to that extent? You think you're so funny, Belinda?
Yes, because I make 3 meals a day for the 365 days of the year. Don't you realize that? I've made it all from scratch, and I've never relied on prepared foods or frozen meals. At your request, the snacks that I make for you at 3 o'clock on the holidays are also homemade.
That's just a part of what you've got to do for me as a housewife. My mother used to do that kind of thing for me as well when I was a child.
She did every single thing for you, including all the laundry and cleaning? Don't you realize I do my best every day to make sure I'm not leaving a single speck of dust on the floor or left on any piece of furniture? I separate the washing by color and wash all your underwear completely by hand. I'm the only person in the house who does this every day.
So you're saying that you're trying to do your best at the level you're sitting on? That's pathetic. You forgot to take out the trash the other day. You also failed to iron my shirt yesterday, didn't you?
I didn't do that because I didn't get enough sleep. I ended up just dozing off because I had a fever. If I'm having to wake up at 4 in the morning and only go to bed at 2 in the morning, there's no way I'll be able to get rid of my fatigue.
My mother lived like that as well, and she had no problems doing all the housework. The house was always completely spotless. You say that you're doing your best, but it's meaningless if you're not producing good results. Even a housewife can understand that much, right? You were also a functional member of society up until a few years ago, weren't you? You should understand hard work, right?
I suppose I do. I know I do a lot of hard work. I give 100% of my housework, and I understand that you don't like how I do it, Blake. Well, then please at least tell Bailey to not take my personal belongings when she's in my house.
What are you talking about? What personal belongings has she even taken?
Actually, over the past few months, more and more of my personal belongings have been disappearing from our house. I only recently found out who the culprit was. Every time Bailey comes over to our house, she's taking something without asking my permission first. It's like she thinks it's her God-given right to take my things.
No, just stop. Why would you say that my mother's taking your things? How dare you say something like that to our own son? Those are strong accusations, Belinda.
When I questioned her about it, she said exactly the same thing you just did. How dare you accuse your mother-in-law of stealing? She said she was borrowing my things for a little while and that whatever belongs to my son's wife belongs to her, so it doesn't matter. It obviously matters, Blake. It's my stuff she's taking. She's never returned what she's borrowed. It's just stealing.
Well, to solve it, we can just pretend that we gave her the things as a gift, so don't worry about it. My mother comes to watch and instruct you on how to do your housework every day. You should be grateful. Considering all this, her fees are really cheap, so you should be following her orders.
What the heck are you talking about? She's charging me fees for this? Even though she's bossy and stealing from me? I didn't ask for any of this to happen. I know how to do housework.
Stop making fun of what she's doing and accusing her of theft. You're such a narrow-minded wife. You're so annoying.
Okay, so are you going to replace the books that have been taken from me? Bailey's taken so much that I hardly have any cosmetics anymore. Haven't you noticed those things are gone? I'm almost out of clothing and bags. It's going to cost a few $1,000s to buy everything that she took again.
Are you kidding me? A few $1,000s? I'm not buying any of that crap for you. You can get that yourself with your own money. Don't even think about trying to splurge on clothes and bags with your husband's money.
Are you kidding me? I've got hardly anything left after what Bailey took.
You've got savings from when you used to work like us normal people. Use that so you can buy it again yourself.
But I'm just a housewife right now. I don't have any money to spend on things. Why won't you help me? You're my husband. And yet, you tell me to use up the precious savings I've got? What am I supposed to do if my savings account has nothing left for the future?
Don't you know how to answer your own questions? I guess you have to go back to work if that's the case. If you got time to talk about nonsense like this, then you got time to perfect your housework skills. Stop being so useless and get back to work.
Hey, Belinda, we need to discuss something right now. How dare you talk badly about me to my own son? He's not the one who's treating me like a thief, thinking that I've stolen your belongings. How dare you? Oh, is that so? Is that what he told you I was saying? Stop playing games with me. Don't you dare call me a thief again. You're such a disappointment. Blake told me earlier what you said. He told me to take anything as an instructional fee on teaching you how to clean. He said to take how much I want. What the heck is that supposed to mean? Do you think you've got any right in taking my stuff? Yes, and my son has finally recognized that. From now on, I can come in and out and take whatever I like as payment. You know I was worried about how there was only good food in your fridge. Would you please stop doing this? I've completely reached my limit with you. This is too far. What's that supposed to mean? I'm your mother-in-law and I can treat you however I like. I feel like there's a hole in my stomach from all the stress you've put me under. Since I've become a housewife, Blake has become more strict with the housework. Now he doesn't even treat me as his wife, but just as some housekeeper. No matter how many times I ask you, you still come over like you own the place. You need to ask me to come over. I am so sick of living like this. This is how a housewife should be treated. I'm not saying anything else about it. Everyone used to be like this. I've been told that I'm allowed to do whatever I want as your mother-in-law. Why would you repeat something like this to others when you wouldn't want it done to you? Oh, shut up, Belinda. You're such a terrible wife to my son. Well, most of the time. Who do you think you owe to be able to live in the house that you do? The land that the house is on is that land that I gave to both of you. Yes, you've told me this before, Bailey, but... So what's wrong with going onto your land whenever I like? The land is no longer in your name, Bailey. Even if it's in my son's name, what's mine is mine. That's why I'll continue to go over to your house whenever I feel like it. I don't see what's so wrong about taking what's on the land that my son owns. You can't just do that to me. That's stealing, as those things don't belong to you. Thanks to the money that my son earns, we can live in such a spacious house. I'm too selfish to stop doing what I'm doing, so I don't plan on stopping at all. Also, you're not good at housework compared to me, and you're not very friendly at all. I wonder why my son married such a useless wife. I wish he'd get rid of you sooner rather than later. I'm so sick of you hanging around my son. I guess I see what your true nature is, Bailey. I also just want to leave Blake for how he's treating me and how he lets you treat me like crap. Are you kidding me with this nonsense? How dare you say something like that about my son in front of his own mother? I'll remind my son of the things you've just said to me. He'll make you pay for that. I've had it up to here with both in terms of how you've treated me since I stopped working. I want to be free from you. I feel so trapped when you're both giving me crap. I'm really at my limit now, and if this continues, I am really going to consider divorcing you.
Oh, is that so? If you're going to keep saying that over and over again, then why don't you do that? You're supposed to be my wife and not threaten me. If you keep being like this towards me and my mother, then you leave me no choice but to divorce you.
Are you kidding me? Me threaten you? You're the one doing it to me. You'd really divorce me on something I don't even do to you?
You think you're so cocky. I can't even understand you anymore. We all know you can't live without me, but you keep saying silly things like this. Even if we were to get a divorce, even someone as stupid as you will understand how important it is to have a husband. I'm at the courthouse right now since it's such a short walk from my office. I'll file the divorce papers as you wish and bring them over for you to sign.
What? You're actually going to do that, even though I've done everything that you've ordered me to do?
It's too late to cry and moan about it now, Belinda. I'll immediately file for divorce. Get out of my house, you useless, good-for-nothing wife.
Okay, but you do realize that this is my house, right? Oh, wait, but you're really filing for the divorce papers right now?
Yes, that's what I just said. I'm filing for the divorce papers right now. I'm staring at them intently. I scribbled your signature in the text box. The people at the courthouse quickly accepted my request without saying anything.
You know that it's not a good thing to use someone else's signature on a form like that. Well, I guess for me it's a relief to get the divorce out of the way, so I'll take it as no questions asked. Thank you for divorcing me. That means you need to get out of my house right away, okay?
Hey, what did you just say to me? That house that I used to make you clean up every day, my mother gave me the land and I built the house on it. Therefore, that house on that land is mine, not yours. You need to pack your things and get out as soon as I come home.
Now just hold on a minute there, pal. Aren't you forgetting some really important details, Blake? It's true that you built that house, but then you put all the details in my name. The house, the land it sits on, all have been transferred from your name to mine.
Are you kidding me with this crap right now, Belinda?
You're the one who said that to me right after it was finished being built, didn't you? You're the one who said that a wife should stay at home, so I just obeyed your orders, Blake. You said please quit your job and move into the house. At the time, you were still treating me well and were much more of an adult about things. You said when I become a housewife, everything will be in your name. That's what your promise was to me, right?
Oh, okay. I somewhat remember what I said to you. At the time, I did write that the house and land are in your name.
Yes, and did you realize that giving up your job to start a family is a huge risk as well? So I was super anxious if we got a divorce or if something happened to you, so you made that promise to me. You said that you'll change the names to mine on the document so that I'm in safe hands no matter what happens. That's when you started to beg me to become a housewife.
I really can't believe this. What am I supposed to do now? I've already filed the divorce papers.
Well, tough. You've got no rights to this house anymore, Blake. You shouldn't have treated me like you did, and none of this would have happened. As the owner of this property, I refuse you to take anything more from me.
But you can't just do that to me. I've done so much for you.
You're the one who needs to pack their bags and move out of the house. I'll give you a little bit of time to do that. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Good luck and take care of yourself. You evil woman! How dare you take the land I own? You need to give that land and the rights to the house back to my son. I've got no intention of giving anything to you. You deserve nothing. Your son was the one who gave me the land and the house in the first place, Bailey. I'm telling you now, he put everything in my name. I don't intend on giving any of the land or house back to Blake. Don't say such stupid things to me. Cut it out. Where's my son supposed to live now, then? Well, he could also go and live with you, Bailey, since he always used to take your side over mine. It's probably a good idea for him to go back to his parents' house if he wants everything done for him. That's definitely not an option. It would be impossible, okay? I literally just sold the house. There's no family home anymore. Where's he supposed to go back to if I've sold the house? Wait, what? You sold your house? Why would you do that? Because I intended on moving into your house once my son divorced you. My house has been standing for several decades and it's already so old. So I thought I'll sell my house and then move in with my son as his house is brand new. Are you kidding me? You think I'd let you move in after you stole from me and bossed me around? You were planning to move back into this house behind my back? I heard nothing of this plan. There was no way I was going to tell my son's useless wife about this plan. Blake was never going to refuse me from living with him, so he stayed quiet about it. And now the sale process has finally been completed. I was planning on moving in at the beginning of the week. At the beginning of the week? Why then? Because you'd both be divorced by then and he would have kicked you to the curb like you deserved. But now there's no way we can do that. I can't believe my son would be so stupid to give the house and the land to you. Hey, I'd watch what you say to me, Bailey. You're on thin ice. If the divorce had been slowed down, this would have been an even more painful experience for me. But what a stroke of luck that I got everything. So you're just going to keep everything for yourself? What's my son supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? I can't just turn around and tell my real estate agent that I'm not going to sell my house after all. How did this even happen when everything was going according to plan? Everything went wrong and it's all because of you. Go off and complain to your son about it. I don't want to hear it. He's the one who divorced me using a lot of his own stupid force. If you'll excuse me, I've got things to organize. I've got to go and put Blake's luggage in the front yard.
Belinda, I can't believe what I've done to you. I'm so sorry.
Huh? Why are you even apologizing to me now, Blake?
I've just realized how horrible I've been, and it's because of my mom's influence on me. She was so horrible to you, and she was trying to push me to make you do everything so that she'd be able to get what she wanted out of us. Look, I didn't want to say anything, but I got fired from my job.
You what? What the heck happened? Why are you telling me this?
You were in charge of all the saving. Can you please give me a bit so I can pay for some living expenses? I really need it.
Are you kidding me? After the way you and your mother treated me? I'm not going to help you out, not this time or any other time.
But you can't just abandon me like this. I need financial help. And please, Belinda, I'm begging you. Don't leave me without any money to live.
You are such a horrible person for the way you've treated me as your house slave. Your mother had no right to say or do the things she did to me. If you want to earn some money so that you can save it for a rainy day or to pay for whatever you need to pay for, you need to look for a job. You know, a thing that normal people do. I'm done with all of this. Goodbye and good luck with your life. After what happened with Blake and his mother Bailey, I heard that they moved into a rundown apartment together. During his unemployment period, he was under a lot of stress. Apparently, he was secretly addicted to buying big purchase items and gambling. Because of that, he had nothing saved up in his bank account. Also, I discovered that Bailey didn't have enough funds in her retirement account. All the housework being done at her old house was outsourced for a long time by a cleaning company. She couldn't even cook a proper meal. If this continues, Blake was told that he'd have to remarry and find a wife who can earn money and do the housework. It seems like the two of them have been working hard together, but no one will agree to go on a date with him as he lives with his mother and he's unemployed and divorced. I want to show that's obvious to his face.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.
I think I'll head over to get you tomorrow at around 10 a.m. or so. Does that work for you?
I'm so anxious about everything right now that I'll be awake bright and early tomorrow, so you bet that time will work for me.
Well, that's not an answer that makes me think that things are okay there.
Well, I'm finally going to get to meet your mom after you asked for my hand in marriage. And asking me not to get nervous about meeting her now is like asking a fish not to swim.
I'm sorry about that. I really wanted to come and meet your parents first to talk about all of this.
And I'm sorry that my parents are always so busy and never seem to have the time to come around us. I'm worried right now whether this gift that I've got to bring to your mom is even enough or not. Do you think I should bring some other stuff as well?
I said you'll be alright. You bought some stuff for my mom that she likes, and getting a ton of things for her would be too much since she lives by herself now. She wouldn't even be able to eat all of those chocolates, right?
I get that, but...
I think you'll be just fine, Mindy. Now, there's something I'd like to ask you. And if you don't want to do it, you can just say no to me, okay?
You have something else to ask of me? What do you need?
Well, actually, before you come over to see my mom again, well, my mom is asking to talk with you over the phone.
What do you mean?
Well, she told me to give her your number, and so, well, you're going to be seeing her again tomorrow, so if she really wants to talk with you, there's always tomorrow. But it seems she really does have something she wants to ask you over text or something.
I wonder what she wants to ask me. Well, I guess I don't really care if she has my number or not.
I didn't get to hear everything from her, but I think she wants to talk with you about having you make lunch for us tomorrow, so that might be what this is all about. She might be asking you if you have any preferences on what to cook and things like that.
I guess I'd be the same if I had something to ask about before meeting up. But I'm sure she already knows about the kinds of foods I like and what I can cook, right?
Well, I guess you'll just have to wait and see what this is all about. You okay with talking to her then?
I think I'll be fine. I'm sure she'll need my number anyway, since we'll probably start to talk even more now that she knows that I'm your fiancé. And of course, after we marry, she'll want to stay updated about us.
Well, she does have a lot of time on her hands ever since my dad passed away and left her all this money, as well as some of the money I give her every month, so I just want to tell you right now that if she finds out you do have a lot of time to be on your phone, she'll start texting and calling about everything. You sure you're gonna be alright with that?
Stop trying to make it seem as though she'd never stop talking to me. I'm sure I'd rather be able to talk to her when I need to, rather than never be able to talk to her at all. And I doubt she's going to be as crazy as you think.
Fair enough. And you love to communicate with others, so I guess there was no stopping you from wanting to talk to my mom.
Well, that's just my thing, making sure that I have all my bases set through asking and confirming.
Well, I'll go let her know your number and then the two of you can start chatting. If there are ever times you're too busy to respond to her or she just starts to get a bit annoying, just let me know. I'll handle it. I just want you to know that you don't have to be on the phone with her all the time, okay?
Thank you.
Oh, and one other thing. If she does say anything you don't like, please be sure to let me know about it right away.
Does something I don't like?
I think things will be alright between you two, but, well, that's at least what I want to think. Actually, when it comes to my mom, she really loves judging people based off their education.
Based off their education?
Well, even though he's not around anymore, my dad graduated from Harvard. And as for my mom, she's from an all-female school in the UK, where she graduated from while her parents were living over there. So she's always going on about what kinds of degrees people have and about where they've gone to school. I was actually very lucky to have her as a parent because, well, she made sure I was able to go to a really good high school. And then after that, to an amazing university and everything, without even having to test into them.
Is that so?
Really, I did want to go to the same school as my friends, but, well, she ended up having a path already laid out for me, so there was not much else I could do about it.
Well then, am I going to be okay?
Well, I told her that you are a lot like my dad, so I think she won't hold too much against you. Well, that's what I want to believe, but I think she'll refrain from saying anything to you over that pretext. I'm sorry if what I've talked about has caused you any worries.
No worries, I'll be alright. After all, she's your mom and she birthed and raised you, right? So I doubt she'd be the kind of person to only judge me based on my education and would be much more open-minded towards me just like you've been.
Thank you so much for saying something like that.
And if she does mention anything about my past, well, I'll just explain everything around it to her.
I'm glad you have confidence, Mindy. Now, I'm going to give my mom your number, okay?
Thank you. It's so nice to meet you, Mindy. This is Richie's mom, and you can call me Lorraine. I understand that the both of us will be meeting again for what seems like the first time in such a long time, so I'm sorry for texting you the night before. I am assuming that this is your number, Mindy? Nice to talk to you again, Lorraine. And thank you for allowing me the chance to finally come and meet you for lunch tomorrow after all this time. And thank you for taking your time to contact me the day before. Well, there are some things I'd like to ask you before having you come out to meet me. So I made sure to ask my son over and over again to give me your number. I'm not catching you at a bad time, right? Not at all. I'm happy to be able to talk with you right now. And so, what's this that you'd like to ask me about? Tomorrow, we'll all be getting together to have lunch and talk, correct? I've been thinking of ordering sushi for lunch. There's a very famous sushi restaurant just down the road that I can ask to bring us some great food. But I wanted to ask and make sure you're okay with raw fish. Oh, thank you so much. I love eating sushi. Well, that's wonderful to hear. But I have to ask, weren't you planning on having me cook lunch for all of us tomorrow? Well, I just decided on having sushi instead for lunch so that I didn't stress you out with this visit all too much. And this was only one of my questions for you. Only one of them? What I really have been wanting to ask you, we'll talk about right now. You are aware that both my husband and my son are Harvard alumni, right? That's right, and I'm well aware of that. My husband is no longer with us anymore, but he graduated from one of the best universities in the U.S., And right after he graduated from there, he began to create a large group of companies that he managed, and then later brought me into his life to become his housewife. So you are well aware that when it comes to someone, the one and only thing you can judge everything about them based off of is their education, right? I suppose you can judge someone pretty well based off their education. My son is in the same boat now, graduating from Harvard and landing himself a job that pays him very, very well. He even makes enough to send me an allowance every month. Of course, I'm able to live very easily with the money my husband left for me after passing away, but Richie has been thinking a lot about my future and said that I shouldn't try to use up all that money so quickly. I've heard from Richie that he's sending you money every month. He really is such an amazing son. He sure is. I was really worried about what would happen with everything after my husband passed, but now that Richie is sending me money, I should even be able to live off of just that amount for the rest of my life. You can tell just by how wonderful my son is that me birthing and raising him was without any flaws. Without any flaws? You're talking about Richie, right? I tried a whole lot of things with that boy ever since he was a little guy, and after making him go to a private high school and then off to Harvard, I can say that he is my little masterpiece. I heard from him that you made sure he went to all the schools you wanted him at. My husband is from Harvard after all, right? And I might not have come from Harvard, but my school is international, so I can still brag about it, right? You both have graduated from very amazing schools, correct? That's right! In England, everyone would call the college I went to the College of Princesses. So not only is it well known over there, but it's viewed as a school with quite an image of luxury and fine education. But it's not just my husband and I that graduated from college, but all our parents as well. So I really do have a bias towards schooling, even after high school. But we can just say that's all in my genes, and it'll be in my son's genes as well. In his genes as well? So this is why I want my son to date a woman with a history in education, and I want him to marry a woman that is from some higher education, and I want him to have kids with her that are all as smart as him and his wife are. I see. And so that's why, starting now, I have some very important things to ask you. Can you please tell me what university you graduated from? I understand that this might come as a heartbreaking surprise to you, but I never graduated from any university. What? What does that mean? Are you trying to tell me that you never graduated from anywhere like Harvard or a school like mine? I'm sorry, but I've never been to any sort of high-level university like the ones you've mentioned. But you've at least gone to and graduated from a school overseas, right? No, actually, the last level of education I graduated from was middle school. Middle school? You have to be kidding me right now. Why would a person like that be going out with my son right now? No frickin' way. This all has to be some kind of twisted joke, right? I know for a fact that recently young women like you just love to be sarcastic and make jokes such as this one. No, this is not a joke. You and my son met within his company, and that's where you both started dating, right? That's what both Richie and you have told me in the past. And as we've said, we did meet inside the company. But you'd have to have a pretty decent education to be working in the same company as my son, right? So tell me how a middle school graduate could have ended up there. And I'd love to explain all of that in detail to you right now. Don't tell me you have ties within that company and were brought in through the back door. The back door? Well, there are things like that, right? Companies need to start hiring more women, and so they do it only for their image, right? Either that, or you have some kind of friend running the place and they brought you in without you ever having to take an interview. I bet that friend of yours knew about Richie and you've been wanting to marry him. So your friend allowed you to start working within the company only so that you could get him and then leave as soon as you're both married, right? I cannot believe what I'm hearing. My son, who I've put so much blood and sweat into, is being carried off by some idiot of a wretched woman. Hold on for one moment, Lorraine. Allow me to explain everything to you. Stop talking to me right now. I don't even want your phone number anymore. I want you to forget about ever having the chance to marry my son, okay? I did not raise my son to marry someone who's never graduated from college and thinks that it's fine to work at a high-level company only to get to my son. Could you please stop saying that about me? I understand that I only ever graduated from middle school, but there is a very important reason for all of that. No matter what kind of excuse you give me for that, it doesn't change that you have no education. You are a middle school graduate, and that's all. My son was so good with his studies back in the day, but I guess he was a weak spot for women like you. The girl he was dating before you was the same deal, telling me she had no plans of going to college, and so I told her to get lost and that she'd never have a chance to marry my son. Huh? Never get a chance to? My husband and I both come from elite backgrounds, and we made sure to make lots of powerful friends to help us raise our boy into a man that would be able to do anything. So when we finally said to him that he could start dating, we told him all the women he brings home only get one chance to impress us. Well, can you let me explain what's going on here so that you'll be impressed with me? No, I will not. I don't want to talk with a middle school graduate like you any longer. You'll only start to make me more stupid, so I have to leave before that happens. And know that your marriage to my son is no more, please. Just give me a chance. Think about your son's happiness and let me explain what's going on here. I told you that you weren't going to get married to my son, right? I haven't even bothered getting that sushi I said I'd order for lunch, so get lost. I can't believe that a middle school graduate is even in our house right now. If my husband knew about this, he'd be appalled. I came here to have a word with you. Well, I don't want any of your words. But if you do this to me, you're not only going to be tossing me out, but your own son as well. Well, maybe next time you shouldn't be coming into my house like this after I've told you to stop trying to marry my son. Richie is upset with you as well right now, though. He's only a child still, so he has no idea about the intentions I have. I'm sure as he continues to grow up, he'll understand everything here. Not only was he surprised about how you wouldn't listen to me, but the fact that you didn't listen to him either before throwing that bucket of water all over me. He's furious now. Well, you deserve to be drenched in cold water like that since you never took the time to take life seriously by getting a proper education. Are you really going to try and end all of this without ever listening to either one of us? There is nothing I want more than to have you shut up and leave my sons and my life at once. Do you really think my ears have the patience to listen to you? I am not interested in you anymore. You are nothing more than trash in this society, and such trash is not welcomed here. You're going to regret all of this then. The only one that's going to regret anything is the one that's missed her chance to marry my bright and wealthy son. You'd never be able to last long anyway with a Harvard alumni like my son. Now stop with all this nonsense and leave my son right now. You'd want me to leave him even though he's my employee? Huh? What are you talking about? Your employee? There's no way in hell he's your employee, right? If anything, you should be his employee, and even then I wouldn't believe it. When I say that he's my employee, I mean that as in he's one of the workers I've hired to work for me. And so far, he's done everything to make sure that the work I give him is done correctly and on time. And, well, since he's so good at working for me, it's almost like he's working with me, so maybe I should call him my partner more than anything else. You've employed him? What? What do you mean? Are you finally going to listen to what I have to say now? Explain all this crap to me right now. Why the hell is my son your employee and not the other way around? Well, it's just as I've said. The company that Richie is currently employed at is the company that I'm the CEO of. CEO? Stop playing around with me. No way in hell is a middle school graduate smart enough to own their own company. I actually started working a job of my own in elementary school. And recently, it's not that strange to see younger and younger kids making money through things like YouTube and other services, right? You had a job when you were in elementary school? I do think that studying is a very important part of all our lives, but when thinking about things like high school and later college, I figured that growing my own business would be far more beneficial. So after starting my own company in middle school, I focused more on expanding it than working on homework and such. And when I was finally out of middle school, I chose to test out of high school and then worked full-time making sure my company took off. Excuse me? In my case, my family had been running a business of their own already, so being around them helped me better understand the business world. Are you telling me that my son is currently working for a company whose CEO has been working since elementary school? Actually, that company is long gone now. I sold it to someone else when I was only 11 years old. You sold it? Correct. I sold it when I was 11 to someone who said they could get better use from it. I was even able to sell it for a decent amount of money. So I used the money from that company to start a newer and better company for myself in middle school. Hold on for just 1 second, Mindy. What the hell is this? Something about all of this makes it seem as though you are actually capable of running your own company. Well, when you say it like that, I suppose I am saying all of this like I'm capable. And that's because I am, and I have all the proof to show for it. And not just within my current company, but from all the success I've had from it. As of right now, I own a penthouse in one of the taller towers downtown, and it's got 3 bedrooms in it. A penthouse with 3 bedrooms? Tell me how much money you're making with that job. I'm sorry, but I can't tell you all of that since you don't want to talk much with a middle school graduate like me. Just know that I'm able to employ a lot of workers within my company, and in return I gain a lot of money from the work they give me. I'm sorry that you happen to care so much about everyone's education and judge them based off of only that one part of their life. Since I only ever made it to middle school, it must hurt you so much to see me making off better than your own pride and joy, right? Well, it's too bad I can't explain anything more about this since you wouldn't want to listen anyway. No, wait a second. The only reason I was judging you so much based off being a middle school graduate is because I thought you were after my son's money. What should I say about this? I didn't know you had a company of your own, and that's why I said so many things like that. Well, you made it pretty clear to me that you didn't want to listen to what I had to say about my company. Well, that's just because I had the wrong idea of you, just the wrong idea. I was so looking forward to getting to know my fiancé's mother even more, to the point that I was jumping out of my chair when we first started to text the other day. I assumed that since you were the one to raise such a loving and amazing boy, you'd be just as loving as him. Well, I suppose I just had my hopes up a little too much. You didn't even want to give me the chance to talk to you in person about myself, and I've lost the excitement I had the other day. So I believe the 2 of us will be going now. Such a shame, since I was looking forward to this day. Hold on for 1 minute. I'll go out and get that sushi for all of us. Do you both think you can stay for a little while longer so we can relax and talk? How does that sound? We should both take some time to sit and talk about ourselves a bit more, since we both seem to have the wrong idea of one another. Richie's telling me that he wants to go, so I'm going to follow him out, okay? Good day to you, Lorraine. Hold on. Mindy! When I saw your full name, I was thinking that you might be pretty famous, and, well, after looking into it more, you really are quite an amazing person, right? And when talking about yourself, you really are a beautiful young woman. So your education and such doesn't mean anything to me now, after looking at the wonderful woman you are, both on the inside and outside. And when it comes to men, of course they care more about looks than about your actual education, right? I don't think you have to talk to me anymore, Lorraine. We are both well aware now that your son told you he was cutting ties to you, right? No, wait a moment. I just wanted to talk to you today about how amazing of a person you really are. I'm sorry, but I can see that you're just trying to get to Richie through me. But you won't be able to, because not even I want to talk to you anymore. Please don't say such heartless things to me. We are going to become in-laws really soon, right? You're going to become my daughter-in-law really soon, so you shouldn't have to say things like that about me, right? So let's both work together to fix things within our family so that we can all go back to being happy and loving with one another. Let's begin fixing things right now. I'm not going to become your daughter-in-law, though. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? That's all exactly what it means. I'm not going to become your daughter-in-law or anything like that because he'll be marrying into my family and getting our last name. And not only that, but he already told you he's cutting ties to you, right? Wait a sec. He's getting your last name? That's a lie, right? Tell me that's some kind of bad joke. Richie told me he doesn't want to share the same name with a family that only cares about people's education and nothing else. And once again, he doesn't want you in his life anymore either. So don't expect him to stick around with you anymore since he's going to be a part of my family now. I'm sure that you can see now that once he has my last name, his connection to you is pretty much gone, right? This has to all be a lie, right? He's my only child, Mindy. If he changes his last name to be your family's, then my family will be. This is what he wants to do. He's told me that he's had enough of you and that last time was in fact the last straw. The last straw? Did you even notice that for the longest time, ever since he was a kid, he's been upset with the choices you've made for him? You were the one that forced him to leave all his friends to go to some private high school, and then sent him to Harvard to study for something he never cared for. And not just things like that, but with his first girlfriend, you told her off even though she was going to be entering trade school and everything. But you didn't view that as a higher education and forced her to break up with him. I was just making sure that he ended up with someone who would match his level. And that ex-girlfriend of his turned out to become a very famous dress designer. She ended up going to a fashion trade school, and after that was taken on by a very famous wedding dress studio, where she's now working as a very well-paid tailor making dresses for all kinds of celebrities. Did you know that? That's bullcrap, right? And she's going to be the one making my dress for the day I get married to your son. Right now, she's happily married to a man that's given her a wonderful home to live in, and in return, she had 3 kids with him. And they are all living peacefully together. I get that it's important to have an education and everything like that, but when you have things like a great personality and a smart head on your body, you don't really have to worry about things like elite colleges and snotty things like that. I mean, Lorraine, have you even cared about anything else regarding your son besides his education? Of course I have. I'm his mom, after all. But you didn't know a thing about the company he was hired into, correct? Well, I just assumed that since he graduated from Harvard and was on a path to finding a great job for himself like his father, I didn't have to worry about what kind of company it is and who runs it. Well, just be aware that the money he's been sending you these past few years is going to stop as well. Huh? He's going to stop sending me my money? Your money? He said he's cutting ties to you, and that's what happens when someone cuts ties to someone else. But what's going to happen to me in my life then? Well, I'm not sure. But the 2 of us are going to get married, and shortly after that, we'll no longer really need to think about you anymore. It's not too late for me yet, right? It's okay for me to come over to your place now and come see you 2, right? I'm going to make things right again between all of us. Make things right again? How's that supposed to work when things were never right to begin with? We were supposed to start out with everything being cool and just having a conversation amongst each other, but instead, you splashed me with ice-cold water and told me to get lost. And I am so sorry about that. I will make all of that up to you, I promise. I'm glad we were able to meet at least one time in person where we both got to see our true nature. Don't say one time, though. From now on, I want us to meet each other all the time. We told you that we're cutting ties to you, right? Which is unfortunate since we only just really met. But because of that, I'm going to have to say goodbye to you. So, goodbye forever, Lorraine. Told Lorraine farewell, and then right after that last message, I blocked her number. And right after that, I deleted her contact information and everything. Richie did the same as me and blocked both her number and deleted all her information. And ever since we both did that, we haven't had to worry anymore about her trying to get in touch with us again, and that's left us both with a lot of peace of mind. As of right now, Lorraine is living life without the money her son would send her, only being able to use the money her husband left her from now on. And as she's doing so, trying not to spend too much of the remaining money, she's been looking at old photo albums of her son and crying, thinking about the past she had. I guess now that she's pretty much lost the one thing that made the present so nice to her, she's going to have to live in the past forever now, with the younger version of Richie that she bragged about so much.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.
The invitation for my wedding should have arrived by now, correct? Please make sure to say no to the RSPV, please. We don't need you coming to my wedding after all.
What? Even though you guys went through all the effort of sending me this invitation?
That was only sent to you because I had no choice. At the most recent class reunion, I told everyone that I was getting married, right? And at the time, I said that I'd be inviting everyone from my class. Well, I went ahead and did all of that before I realized that you were in my class as well.
But everyone else says that they're going, so why do I have to be the one to stay away?
Because we don't need some ugly-looking emo like yourself bringing down the vibes of my wedding. If you were to actually come, the whole atmosphere would become cold and people would want to leave. So please, just like with the graduation ceremony years ago, read the air and stay away.
What?
I never thought that you would actually show up to this ceremony after everything, so I was laughing my butt off watching you walk across the stage. I'm sure you felt the same way as everyone else did when you brought down everyone's feelings that day, right? That's why everyone started to whisper for you to go home over and over as you stepped off the stage. But you actually did leave right after you grabbed your diploma, which none of us actually saw coming.
I remember what was going on that day myself. I was wondering then why everyone kept telling me to go home like that, and it made me feel very sad and unwanted. All of my friends were telling me not to worry about what you were saying, but I couldn't hold myself together and started to cry before I went home.
I know that was back in high school, and things have changed by a lot now, but ugly people like you stay ugly. No matter how much makeup you lap on yourself, you will never be able to get rid of that dark and ugly character you have. And to think that right now, after so many years have gone by, you're still working at base level job? The gas station, was it? I suppose that's the perfect job for you ugly emos then, huh?
Huh? I never really told you about what job I have currently, did I?
Well, I've heard from other people what you're doing. And what they've said is that you're too old now to still be working at a gas station. There's no way I'm going to let such a low life as yourself come to my wedding of all things. That is the wedding for a high school beauty contest winner who also happened to be the most popular woman in school after all.
I may not have changed much, but neither of you really, Georgia. You were always belittling people like that, so I guess none of us have really changed much, have we?
Oh, sorry, hold on there. I'm not making fun of you right now because I want to. You've just chosen to continue living life below me as an ugly emo this whole time, Oakley. Now please make sure to say no to that invitation for me. I'll let everyone know on the day of that you ended up having to work a shift on the gas station that day, and that's why you couldn't make it. Miss Ugly, are you really not able to make it to my daughter's wedding that's coming up really soon? You made sure to take the day off that day, right?
Actually, there were some other things that showed up on that date. That's why I'm not going to be able to attend that day.
Oh, is that right? Is there no way you can say that you have an important wedding to go that day and maybe postpone some of the other things? It's going to be my daughter's wedding of all things, and I'd really like a person as important as you to be there.
What?
Georgia has already told me that she wanted and invited everyone from her class back in high school. I think the more people she has from back then coming to see her wedding, the more happy she'll be and the better memories she'll make. So could you please find some way to go to the wedding that day? I'm sure you don't want to keep listening to her mom go on and on about having you come to her wedding. But I'd really love for this wedding to go perfectly for her, and you would be able to make that possible.
You really are such a kind woman, Catherine. But you really don't have to be too worried about this. Even if the both of us were in the same graduating class together, her and I weren't all that close back in the day. I don't think it will bother her at all if I don't make it to the wedding.
Please, don't think something like that, Miss Oakley. There is also my husband and myself, right? Him and I are always talking about how so much you've done for us, so we'd really love for you to be there on our behalf. So, would you please?
I never thought I'd be asked this many times by you to be at your daughter's wedding of all things. You've always been a key member of the team for so long now, so it's a bit difficult for me to say no when you've asked so many times.
It should be. It should be. You have been working so much lately that you should take the day off to come and see my daughter get married. And if it's really going to be difficult for you to change plans around, then at least make around 10 minutes to just pop your head in. I would really like for as many people as possible to come and see my baby girl in her wedding dress.
Well, if that's all right by you, then I suppose I can come and pop my head in real quick. Then I'll be able to say to the groom and introduce myself and be off. If that's all right with you, then that'll be the plan I make.
That would be completely fine with me. Oh, I never thought that at my daughter's own wedding, she'd be able to have you as a guest and finally be able to see the important side of one of her old high school friends. Oh, anyways, I'll be waiting for you on the day of her wedding then. Why the hell have you come here, you ugly emo? I never asked for you to be at my wedding. Get the hell out of here, you low-life loser.
I shouldn't even have to be told to leave, as you can already see me leaving now. Also, what you just did was horrible. You came up behind me and pushed me right into the shallow pool that's at the front of the wedding hall.
Tell me how that was horrible of me. I was just making sure that my wedding is well-defined, is all.
Huh? That was you defending your wedding?
You came all the way out here with the intent of ruining my wedding, so I had to act before any of that could actually happen. The moment I found out where the terrorist was, I thought about what I could do to send them away and act. This is what normally happens to people like you, right?
Who are you calling a terrorist? What do you mean I came here to ruin your wedding as well? Why would I ever come here with the goal of doing that to you?
Stop trying to talk your way out of what you plan to do now, you terrorist! I told you well before today not to come to my wedding, right? And you still came walking right in like that warning was never given to you. I know you're only here for one reason, and that's to get in the way of my perfect day.
What?
I'm sure I hurt your feelings by making fun of the fact that you work at a gas station, right? That's why, with all that pent-up anger you have for me now, you've come here to ruin the most important day of my life. That's something I can definitely see an emo like you doing.
I told you that's not why I'm here, Georgia. I came here just to pop my head in and say hi. I get that you really, really hate me for many, many reasons. So to try and keep us from getting into any fights, I was just coming for a few minutes with the plan of going right back home.
Huh? Are you trying to piss me off now by saying that you, a lowlife, came all the way here with the intent of saying hi before going back home? I never said that I needed an ugly emo like yourself here saying hi to any of my guests. You're literally nothing compared to me, you loser. Yet you came here thinking it'd be alright even if it were for a couple of minutes? I'm not sure how much more of a presumptuous action I can handle. Oh.
Presumptuous? I was not doing anything cheeky by coming here for a few minutes. I understand that for a very long time now you have hated me, all right? But you can't continue to act like a child by attacking me when you are old enough to be put in jail for things like that.
Oh, is the gas station employee who's in her late 20s now going to start preaching to me about what's right and what's wrong? Oh, someone like me who's getting married to a man who works as an elite for a massive company. Someone like me who's going to live the rest of their life as a housewife in the penthouse in one of the tallest buildings in this city has ever seen. Don't make me pee myself by trying to act all smart, you low-life part-timer.
So you really are just going to continue with the belittlement until the day you die, huh? I can really tell now that no matter what I try and say to you, you'll never listen to me.
Oh, so you finally come around to realizing that someone like me can't ever understand the crazed thoughts of a lowlife? Well, now that you've realized your loss, go ahead and leave this place in your completely drenched dress. My wedding is starting really soon here, so I want you gone before that happens.
I'm going home, all right? You don't have to keep telling me to. But before I go outside, can you at least give me a towel or something? I won't even be able to ride in a taxi with how wet I am right now.
Oh, wow. Just what I expected from a lowlife. You're like a homeless beggar asking me for a towel right now so that you can dry yourself off.
Huh?
I know what this is all about now. You came to my wedding today to try and get to all the really delicious food I'll have prepared for everyone today, right? You must only ever get to eat all the day-old stale food that comes out of the gas station, right? So, you thought that today you'd be able to come sneak into my wedding looking to grab yourself a bite or two of this really delicious food.
What?
But I'm really sorry, Oakley. There's no amount of food here that I'd be willing to serve to a low-life beggar such as yourself. So, would you please give up now and leave already?
Would you frickin' stop it with all this belittlement, please? Can't you see how far you've gone now, calling me a homeless beggar and all that, on top of calling me a terrorist?
Huh? What's with that attitude? The one that came to my wedding after being told not to come was you. I won't have an ugly emo coming to my wedding. There's not a chair prepared for you here. Not for the wedding and not for the lunch.
All right, I'm leaving then.
Hurry the hell up, loser. I told you from the very beginning not to come here. Yet this gas station working low life of an ugly emo came all the way out here causing me trouble. A massive loser like yourself needs to keep eating that crappy gas station food for the rest of your life. Then your mother is going home as well. What? I actually quite enjoyed my job at the gas station and find the food here to be really nice. But I'm sorry, however, that your low-life mother has caused you so much embarrassment. My mother? Wait, what? Everyone has different views, I know that. So, I'm not going to say anything to you about your views on who is a lowlife and who's working stupid jobs, even if I am your own mother. But there is one thing a mother like me can say, and that's that you're pushing someone into a shallow pool like that is unacceptable. Wait a second. You're my mom? What? Is that really you, Mom? Why the hell would my mom be texting me through that loser's phone right now? I couldn't watch what was going on anymore, so I went and took Miss Oakley's phone from her. I never ever thought that even my daughter could be vicious to someone else, as you've been to someone like her. I'm so embarrassed by you right now that I had to do something about this. What? You've really shown me your true side, Georgia. The side of you that would push someone as important as Miss Oakley into the water. When I saw that happen, I had no idea what to do or say because I had frozen up out of shock. Wait a second, Mom. Why do you keep calling her Miss Oakley? Why are you being so polite to such a low-life scum as her? Who said she could be treated that way? Well, she happens to be the owner of the company that runs the gas station I work for. I don't care that you have such feelings against her and that you've carried all the way from high school. She's my boss and I will treat her as such. And that's the reason why I call her Miss Oakley instead of viewing her as your old classmate. Huh? Your boss? Wait, Mom, you're working at a gas station right now? And you're telling me that Oakley's the owner of that gas station? That's what I'm saying. I told you a while ago that I was going to start working again, right? All of my kids were finally out of the house, and I had nothing to do with all this time besides sit around and watch TV. I talked with your dad a little bit about it, and we agreed that I should get myself a part-time job, which is where I am right now. I heard about all of that, but I never knew you were working at a gas station. I was thinking you worked for a supermarket or a cafe in the neighborhood. I was thinking that you of this whole time, but you've actually been working at a gas station? I was thinking about working at a place like the local grocery store as well, but then your dad gave me some advice. He told me that working at places such as that, where everyone else around me is old, would require me to pick up slacks for all of them. He then recommended that I go somewhere lots of young people work, as the workload would be more even there. So then you decided on working for a gas station? A lot of the gas stations around our house looks for part-time workers all the time, but when I went to the one closest to the house, I never thought I'd be hearing about how the owner of the company was Miss Oakley. And as of right now, she's running around 12 different gas stations, so I have to really respect her for that, because she doesn't even hand off orders to people below her to run her gas stations. She will go to each and every one of them with all of the time, making sure the management is in shape, and that the rest of the employees are doing their jobs well. What? From what I've heard, she's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. But even with all that money she's making sure it doesn't all get to her by coming out to be with the people that makes her business happen. Because of that, I have a lot of fun working at the gas station, and always feel as though even my voice is heard. Huh? At this particular gas station, there are a lot of high schoolers and college students working part-time. There are also people that want to become actors working part-time here, and those that were down on their luck, but are trying to improve their lives now. I really enjoy talking to and working with all different kinds of people from all different backgrounds, as it makes the day go by and I learn plenty of new things. And considering I'm pretty far up in ages now, a lot of the youngsters there will teach me how to use new features on my smartphone and such. Oh, you seem so happy about being there! I get to meet all kinds of people from our part of the city as well that comes in to get snacks and drinks. I get to see little kids that I've never really gotten talking to with anymore, and some old friends that I haven't seen in so long. Being able to have so much social interaction with everyone makes this part of my life so enjoyable. But my own daughter is saying someone like myself is a low life because of where I work. There have always been people around making fun of that work part-times at base-level jobs. But the fact that I've now had to learn my own daughter is just like those narrow-minded people breaks my heart. Hold on, I'm going home as well now. I was expecting to cry and sob a lot today at my daughter's wedding as I watched her marry her love, and that's why I brought this little towel and handkerchief. But to think I'd have to be using them to dry my boss off at the front of the building. I'm going to take Miss Oakley home in my car now, so that she doesn't have to worry about getting a taxi. What? You're actually going home? Hold on now. Are you being serious right now? Of course I'm serious. You were just being serious with my boss a little bit ago, right? That low-life gas station workers like her should get lost. Wait, Mom, that was, I might have gotten carried away. I didn't actually think that you'd take something like me saying to go home personally as well. Now, come on, Mom. You can stop joking about going home with her, alright? There's no way you'd let your daughter have a wedding without her mother around, right? I sure haven't ever seen a wedding before where the mother was told to leave before it started. Then perhaps you'd better off just canceling the wedding so that something like that won't have to happen. Huh. And then you can have a talk with your fiancé Marcus about why the wedding was canceled. Wait.
There's no way this wedding is being canceled. All of our friends and family are here and ready to go now. And why are you even talking about Marcus right now, Mom? Well, that's because he's standing right beside Miss Oakley and myself right now. Marcus is? When he saw me running over to see Miss Oakley, he wanted to see what was going on and came rushing over as well. He said to her, "Are you alright, Miss Oakley?" and things like that as he came up. He apparently saw what you did to her as well. So right now he has his jacket over Miss Oakley, trying to keep her warm so that she doesn't catch a cold or anything. I am so shocked that a kind and selfless man such as him thought it would be a good idea to marry you. wait a sec. Why is my fiancé calling her Miss Oakley as well? How about you ask your fiancé about that? Now both my boss and I are going to be heading home. You go and choose whether you still want to have your wedding, or if you rather just cancel it and save yourself some of the embarrassment. I'm not going to help out with that choice, though. Hey! There's no way, right? There's no way that my Marcus is working part-time at one of your gas stations. That has to be some kind of messed up joke, right? You haven't hired my fiancé to work for you, right?
Right now, Marcus is working for another one of my gas stations on the other side of the city. Not only has he been working for me for a while now, but he's really enjoyed his job there and gets all the work he's asked to done in a very efficient manner. But I never thought that that man would end up being your fiancé of all people.
No way. So then everything he's been saying to me is true?
So you were just about to marry the guy, yet you had no idea what he was doing for work or anything?
I didn't have to know. I was believing everything he had told me. He told me he came from a really strong university and he was working for a massive company. He even told me about how efficient he was with his work, making him the top employees with his place of work. He told me all of that, hence why I chose to get married to him. Yet, instead, it turns out he's really been working at a gas station this whole time. He never told me that a year ago, the company he was working for had got some layoffs and he was let go.
How about you calm down there, Georgia? Have you really not heard the rest of the story from him? The company may have laid him off, but that was only before it was bought out by an even better company. And that company has been asking him to go and work for them now that they see his potential. He has been in the works of going to their interviews, but in the meantime, he's been relaxing while working for me.
Who cares about all that? That doesn't change the fact that he was let go by the previous company and had to work for you at a gas station. He shouldn't have lied to me about working at a gas station, right?
I'm sure it wasn't right for him to hide that fact from you.
Who would want to marry a man like him? I'm done. I don't want him anymore. I'm canceling this wedding, and from here on out, I am no longer together.
What? So you're actually canceling the wedding?
Well, of course. I would never get married to this man that works part-time at a gas station, and my mom already went home as well. I don't want to have this wedding if I won't be able to brag to all my friends about the man I've married anymore. I'm canceling this marriage and this wedding right now.
I'm not really sure you should have been getting married so that you had something to brag about in the first place, but...
Shut up! Don't start to talk like that to me just because you make some decent money. Don't even try picking on me now just because my mom works for you.
I'm not trying to be rude to you, and I'm definitely not picking on you either. Georgia, the way you are now is really disappointing. No matter what anyone tries to say to you, you just go off the rails and start fighting everything. Oh, well, I guess if you want to keep throwing a fit like that, then please go right ahead and cancel that wedding. And make sure to tell your hard-working fiancé that things are off as well.
What the hell is that attitude?
And after all those invites you sent out to have the whole high school class here, the most popular woman from high school's wedding was today. I'm sure a lot of people were hoping to see something really amazing here, but now it's being canceled. And the mother of said popular woman ran back home. I really want to see how you're going to explain to everyone there why you're having that wedding canceled.
Yeah, are you playing with me right now?
I bet you're smiling and laughing right now watching me go through all this crap like I deserve it or something, right? I'll tell you right now that what's happening between you and I is going to stay a secret. You and I will keep this secret that I'm leaving my fiancé because he works at a gas station. Don't you ever tell a single person why this wedding is really over with.
What should I do here? You and I aren't that close to one another, so will I really keep such a tremendous promise with you?
What? What?
Now you have fun telling all the staff that the wedding is canceled. Good work today. I'm going to stop talking to you now. Georgia tried her best to tell everyone that her wedding was being canceled due to her mother having a bad fall and needing to go to the hospital. She then went and told her fiancé that things were off because he had lied to her about being laid off and having to come work for me at a gas station. He was pretty upset by what happened there, but he knew it was partially his fault for not telling her the truth when things happened. But just a few days later, he received a call from the company he was interviewing with, and they told him he had gotten the job. It turned out that the new company who had bought the company he was laid off from heard stories about his skills from all the employees they took on, and so they wanted him back and moved into the position of department manager. He was also given a raise due to all the troubles he had faced from being laid off during what one could call a corporate buyout of the last company. And that, to me, sounds like a great deal. When Georgia learned about how he got that new job within the massive new company, she ran back to him hoping they could get back together. But by that point, he was totally over her and said for her to get the hell away from him. This was also around the time a lot of the guests from Georgia's canceled wedding began to catch on to what the real reason was for the wedding being canceled. Now, Georgia has been trying to get a hold of her mom to say that she was sorry for what she'd done and all the lying. But to this day, her mom has still managed to ignore all those calls and texts.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.